big part of this journey for me was sexual healing and sexual trauma and abuse happening to me when I was younger. What was so beautiful is the understanding that there is nothing that needs to be forever, like everything can heal. I got to understand that the only way out of this, not ending up in situations like this again and again in your life, is to actually understand that you are God in those moments as well. It's understanding that it never left, but I left God in there. That's how society will collapse. It's when we get full access to that intuition, but it's also the way into freedom. And there is 4 things like that they now have put into everything in our lives to block that intuition. It's the 4 things that blocks the intuition most. It's a strategy that is being used to block us from trusting our own truth, so that we can listen to others and be controlled and control each other as well. Like, that's the way we play out these dynamics of controlling each other. And science have even shown this, that your past do change when you rewire it. The actually past experience do change, because the timeline is only here and now. It's to find that even in the darkest dark, you are whole. Even there, you are God. You are everything there. It's no separation. There's no bad or good. It all is. It's this frequency of trash, you know, that you're worth nothing anymore, and you start to have interactions with others from that same frequency. So then you start to match with other dangers as well, where people are vibrating in the same pain. And it came to me, Mary Magdalene, that was, you know, seen as this hooker that was taken advantage of. Felt like I was buried underground. Everything in my life just died in there. Because the more we have access to our intuition, the more we have access to the highest consciousness that exists. Because our intuition, our pineal gland, is the highest consciousness. I had Sophie with me today. We are going to talk about the dark room. I've been in a dark room for 6 days with no sound, with nothing else than my own mind and all the monsters under the bed that we are so scared of, and being in a pitch dark room. So we are going to do this journey together and just see what unfolds from what has transitioned after this dark room journey, and what became alive in this journey. And Sophie, there's no one else that is co-creating this energy more with me than her. So we're gonna do this together. Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very honored and excited to hear about your journey, because I don't know anything, and I've been waiting to hear more about it. So I'm very excited to hear about your experience and whatever happened within you during those days. So where do you want to begin?
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, let's start with like day 1. So basically, when you go into a dark room, there is nothing else. So even you don't even find your toothbrush again, because it's really pitch dark. And this is what it is with dark rooms, is that it requires no light at all. So it requires a certain kind of quality to be able to build the dark room, right? So absolutely no light at all, because if you get in some light, then your brain already starts to react to the external noise around. So you don't see anything, you don't hear anything, and even just brushing your teeth, you need to like take the toothbrush from the wall, because if not, you cannot find it. You will not be able to find your toothbrush again if you don't hang it anywhere, you know. So just to give an idea of that experience. And in this dark room, I'm all on my own. It's just a bed, and then it's a yoga mat on the floor. And I built up some pillows before it turned dark to sit on the floor to be able to meditate throughout the days in the position that I need to sit on. And then there's a toilet, and that's all you have. Very small and cozy. And then you sit there with your own mind. And I think that's why so many are like, wait, out of all the things, like, don't go into the dark room. Because what darkness is representing is everything that is left in the shadow. It's everything that is left hidden, like all the things that we actually don't want to see. That's what's in the dark. And what we're actually so scared of by going into a dark room is that we're scared of our own mind, like what we're actually feeling, experiencing when no one is around and it's just you in a dark hole, right? It's that. So what you're gonna meet is the monsters under the bed. It is those things that you fear the most. That's what you're up against.
Yeah.
So it's a very humble journey, and actually the room just turn into something else. Like when you're in the dark room, after the few days, the room starts to shift into another life. It just shifts into everything that is going on in your mind. That's what you start to see, feel, and experience around you. So you start to realize what you actually are creating and experiencing in this life, all the drama that is going on around you, all the limitations and experiences you are feeling in life. You, in the dark room, you get to hear your own thoughts, and you get to understand why you are creating the life you are creating today, and what is actually those limitations that is holding you back from the other potential. Because the brain is showing you, the mind is showing you that reality in the dark room.
Yeah.
Of like, that's why I have this drama in my life with that person, or why this is playing out with my dad, or whatever, you know?
Yeah, because you're removing all distractions and it's just you and your fears and your thoughts and everything that's you. So I can just imagine what breakthroughs you've had these days. So I'm curious about, what did you feel stepping into this experience?
You know, I've been wanting to do a dark room for probably like 2 years now. I've always had the calling, but I haven't felt ready yet, because darkness is, I have a lot of respect for darkness, like what we are more scared of. There's a lot of respect in honoring those boundaries in myself as well, like not going because I want to feel special, or because I want to go somewhere else, because here and now is not enough. Like for me, if the reasons to go into a dark room is that, it's basically gonna take me off guard and take me into what the dark room really is. And for me, I have had a long journey throughout my whole life of being scared of the dark, sleeping at night, alone. I've had a lot of night terror and PTSD all the way up until I was maybe 27, 28 years old. I've experienced a lot of night terror as well, where I've been waking up and sitting in different parts of the rooms, of the bedroom, and just screaming from my throat out of all the fear, and seeing beings there, taking me, doing things with me. So there's been a lot of trauma that have kind of come up and hunted me back during night times.
Connected to the darkness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it hasn't, and this year I've been moving through so much, and this summer I was feeling into it again, and it just came this big nudge, and just like, wow, I'm ready for the dark. I didn't feel any fear around it. I didn't feel any, it was just time. It was just time to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to feel the calling, to
Yeah.
go in, like with anything, like the retreat we have in Greece as well. Like you will feel the calling if there's something there for you. And that's when it truly is going to transform your life and change everything. It has for me, the dark room. Holy fuck.
Wow. Oh my God, I'm excited to hear about what it changed within you. Okay, so you just felt the calling and you went there. And what happens next? Like, what was the first, how was the first day for you?
So basically, the first days is all about the why. It's like why I'm actually in there. So, And I think this is something that is probably a pattern that goes for many people when they go into the dark room, or any other things, like also the retreat that we have in Greece. The first thing is like, well, why are you actually here? And you get to meet all the ego that is there until you meet the real reason for why you're there. So probably the first 2 days, it was all about all the resistance. It was like, I could hear my mind talking so much, like all the conversations that I didn't realize that I had with myself all the time, that is taking me away from this present moment. Like there was so much ego, so much pain, like everything I was meditating every day from day one. I sat in meditation and I slept a lot, because the first days you're gonna sleep a lot. Well, most people do. Again, everyone had such a different experience, and my experience in the darkroom was incredibly deep and transformational, but depends on where you are in your journey, where you are in your consciousness, what is happening in your life. For other people, it's just like they're just sleeping the whole time, right? It's so different from each person. But I definitely slept a lot the first days. And I definitely believe that it does increase your melatonin, your sleeping hormones, and I've gotten so much better sleep. I've always struggled with sleep, but my sleep is so much deeper than before the darkroom, compared to after. And also the first days was all about hearing all the mind going on, like, wow. A part of that was I had a lot of conversation about all my realizations. And every time I had a realization, I was like, wow, this is what I'm going to share. And this is what I'm going to talk about. And this is how I'm going to. So it's all about everyone else. You know, all the conversations in my mind was always about telling someone something, like my friends or my family or clients or work. It was something about like convincing people of things or sharing something with others. And I'm like, it was so loud. And it made me realize how much of those conversations I have, which is about everyone, convincing everyone else about something, right? This identity that I carry with what I say or what I do, and all about convincing people about things. So, so first part of the journey was really about coming down to what that really was about. And I got to, so basically I got incredibly strong pictures of my life and everything that is happening. So the visions become incredibly strong, or it did for me. I'm just going to talk about me because everyone has so different experiences. And so the first day I got like a vision of my whole timeline. And while I was sitting with this conversation of how I constantly convince people about things, I would sit with this resistance and this pain, and then it would show me my whole timeline and everything that I've already moved through, and all the people I have in my life, all the experiences I've had, everything that I'm like. It just took me from a baby to this day, and I just got a flash of like all these beautiful timelines of my growth and my journey and things that I hadn't remembered before. And then I just burst into tears out of so much gratitude and love for like, wow, Celine, I'm whole. Like right here, I'm whole. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm whole here. And here I am thinking about the future all the time, or what to do next, or what to share with other people. And then this is enough. This is everything. So I got to, and this is the why. This is what I'm sharing also, what we do in the retreat in Greece. Is like, you go through all the ego that cannot accept reality for what it is, exactly in this minute, exactly where you are today. And if we can't fully surrender into here and now and understand that right here, you are whole, you are holy, you are love, you are worthy, then we're never gonna reach full access to freedom, to God. So that really took me into this flush of deep gratitude and love for myself, and like, wow, this is everything. There's nowhere else to be. There's no one else to share something with or convince, or this is it. And I just fully surrendered into this moment. And I had so many layers and processes of coming back to surrendering into here and now, and understanding that this is everything. There is no tomorrow. There is no next minute. This is all. So if I cannot be fucking free here, like, how can I ever be free? You know, like, and what that gave me was also this information that whether something is happening in my life, whether there's some pain going on or fears or limitations showing up. And again, this can show up in physical form, like in friendships, with family dynamics, in work, in money, and everything. But what happens when we go into distractions and avoidance, and we go onto our phones, or like, oh, this is not enough. I need to work more. I need to do more. It's the understanding that I am not whole in this moment. Like we actually abandon ourselves and lose access to God in those moments. So what I came back to is that any fears, any pain that shows up in my life, I can come back and understand that, well, in that I'm also whole, in that I'm also love, in that I'm also beauty, in that I'm also, you know, holy. And so, and that was a very big part of the first days. That's when I really understood my why of being in a dark room. It was like, well, here and now is everything. And it was this deep unconditional love for exactly this, and that I don't need anything else other than what is here. And I just, in those moments also, when you access that, that's when you can fully receive what is in your life exactly in this moment. Like, this is when you can receive everything that is already happening. And that's all the love, all the joy, but it's also in physical form, like all the things that is already here. Like even the pillow you have, even the ring you have on your finger, you know, even the people that is already there in your life. So it was also this flash of like so much gratitude, and I was just receiving everything that was already here and realizing how rich I am here. Like, what more is there to get? And how can you get more if you can't receive what is already here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big insight and big transformation. How has that been like integrating in your life afterwards? Can you see that you've changed a lot of things in how you show up, or how you view the world or other people when it comes to this specific insight?
Yeah, it is. What's so beautiful about it is that every lack and longing that would kind of come into my life, it's just I'm receiving it. Like I let it expand within me. So one of my mantras in the dark room was, darkness is my medicine, darkness is my medicine. And everything time got uncomfortable, painful, scary. It didn't actually come to scary place, to be honest, even though I know this is very normal, but it came to a point of like that fear really showing up. And in those moments, I would just like let it expand, like darkness is my medicine, darkness is my medicine. I would just breathe and allow it to expand me. Instead of trying to push it away, I would expand it within me. So I would just say, thank you, like, I'm receiving you. I see this demon, okay, I receive you, you know, like darkness is my medicine. So with that, the saying goes in this life where if there's anything not working the way I like it to work, or there's some drama going on or whatever we're playing out, longings, limitations, sadness, desires that is not here. I am just bringing in that energy and I'm just letting it expand me. And I'm just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. So there's not really any person, any experience, any situation, any memory that I now think of today as something where, well, I'm not experiencing myself in the victim of it anymore, basically. But instead, every time I come back to an unpleasant memory or a sadness or a longing, it's just I let it expand me and just saying thank you. And then I go into the process like, here I'm also whole, here I'm also love, here I'm also holy, here I'm also worthy. So it means that even if there's something present with me where I feel guilty or that I should have done something differently, I also let that part of me understand that, but you're holy in there as well. Like, it's okay to do mistakes, and I can have as much access to God here as when everything is thriving in life. And so the impact it has on me today is basically that there is so much coming to me like this. I don't have to do anything. Like every day I meditate and I access that wholeness every day. I'm like really expanding any emotion that is within me, whether that's sadness, resistance, longing, happiness, joy, and anything, any memories that has an experience of some low vibration. I go in there as well and I expand that and I receive God there as well, the frequency of love. And so it basically, today, there's nothing that I'm rushing towards. Like there's no, oh, I need to do this, or I need to go there, or I need to do that, or oh, something is lacking in life. It's just like, I feel so freaking whole here. Like there's nowhere else to go. And so what I notice is that where I before would kind of like hunt to get things in my life or to reach some goals or whatever, now it's just like, it's coming in my hands. There's nothing that I do. There's just people reach out, things just happens, and I'm just there showing up in this present moment, feeling completely freaking whole here. And so in that, it kind of, everything that is matching that vibration is coming to me. And so, yeah, that feels freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's true manifestation.
It is. It is.
Yes.
It's the depth of it. You become it.
Yeah.
You become it.
Of course, because your embodiment, of course, attracts whatever matches who you are. That's amazing. Wow. So after these first days, because you have no idea if it's day or night or any idea of time or how long you slept or anything like that, right? So you just, you can just be in the moment. Wow.
Yeah, it's you exactly like you say, you lose track of time, like anything, day and night, you have no clue. And
do you eat anything during these days?
Yes, I do. Yeah, but not much. I was drinking some juices with beets and some root vegetables, and then I would actually drink some bone broth to get some proteins in me. Very important with proteins. But other than that, there's so much life force energy. At least for me, it was so much life force energy moving through me that food didn't even become something for me. I very quickly came out of that addiction too. But I
because
guess
it can also be a distraction, of course, or an escape from the present moment.
Yeah, and then if it is, then that's a part of the journey as well, to see what food is actually representing to you. So I guess like it's always the first days, that comes for everything. Also with the retreats we have while we awake, always the first days, the first 2-3 days, people always go through a lot of resistance. So that's when all like, no, I'm not moving forward, things are uncomfortable.
Like, why am I here? What am I doing?
Yeah, like, oh no, everyone else can have this huge transformation, and what about me? And but then after a while, the whole point is that you sit with that resistance. So for me, the first days, I mean, my resistance was that I was like, there's mouses, lots of mouses running on the
Oh, really?
on the roof of where I'm sleeping, and I was like, oh, what if they get into this room? And so I was like looping, because this is what you do, you loop in your thought process. That's when you resist the ego and the pain that is actually coming up for you. And the resistance is that you start to create a lot of stories and you start going up in your mind because you cannot be in the present moment. So that's what I did also with all the conversations I had with all these people. And then what came back to the present moment was the realization that I'm whole here and now. And I got to show my timeline and just like, Celine, what are you doing trying to be more than what you are here? This is everything. There's nothing more to reach. And so the same happened with other things. Like I met a lot of pain in my body, a lot of physical pain in my body. And obviously I was meditating for probably lots of hours every day. And in the meditations, I would get like intense pain in my neck, in my back, and then I would sit with it. So that's when I know this is a resistance. There's something here that is ready to be shown. And if I can sit with it, and just again, darkness is my medicine, the pain is my medicine. So I let it expand me. I'm just like, instead of trying to push away the pain, I'm just like, I'm expanding you. You're welcome to be here. You're welcome to be here. And then the trauma comes and the release comes, and you reach freedom and the pain is gone. And so for me, it was also a journey of after an accident I had last year. I think at some point we're gonna share what that accident was, and probably have an episode of that. Yeah, and but I've had a lot of physical pain in my body after that, and had things that have limited me a lot. So a part of my intention with going into the dark room was to heal this. And that means to actually go down in your body and sit with the freaking pain. And for me, I don't believe, honestly, that anything is chronicle, even if someone have told you this is going to stay with you for the rest of your life. I have had many things like that have completely healed and is no longer part of my life. I know you have as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And so in the dark room, it was beautiful for me to sit with the pain, and I would bring the intention like, okay, now I'm gonna heal my lower back, and I would feel that now it's ready, now it's time to be seen. And so then I would go down into my lower back and I would start breathing and expanding it, just like, you're welcome to be here, this pain. And that would just freaking give me so much pain. And then it would show me where it actually sits. It was never the pain in my lower back. It was actually somewhere in my digestive system. So then that started having a huge reaction. And then the trauma came. That was the reason why this chronic pain had been stuck here. And
was
then
that also visual for you, or was it emotional? Like, for example, this trauma that you saw connected to the pain?
Yeah.
Like, how did you experience that?
Good question. It was so visual. So, but I already am a person that also in my therapy sessions and everything, like my vision is very strong. And so for me, the vision were like freaking strong in the dark room, like never before. And every time I met a resistance, which is the pain, and you like a resistance, sometimes it can be a physical pain in your body. Other times it's actually an emotional, like, why the fuck am I here? Like, I'm so bored. Like, what day is it? Is it over soon? That can be a resistance. I'm bored. Other times it's like, oh, it's bed bugs. I was like, there's bed bugs here. I feel, and I could see the rots and the mouses on the top of where I was sleeping, but that was just my vision. So my brain was creating these visions of what I fear, and I was like, these mouse and rots. Is it mouse? Mouses?
It's like mice,
yes. These mice are going to eat me up. These rots are going to eat me up. And I would like sit with this for like some time. And then my hearing was so loud, and I started hearing lots of like knocking and banging, and I would get so freaking angry. And I was like, this is not a dark room. Like, this is ruining my experience. And And this was again like my mind would create all these visions, and that might not even be real. And I started seeing the floor above me just changing. You know, all of a sudden I was asleep and I woke up and I could see the mice is running on top of me and on top of the ceiling. But that was also, that wasn't how the room looks like. When I turned on the lights, like, oh, this is not how it is. So it was just my mind that was creating these visions. And so this is what happens when we don't have any noise or stimuli around us. We're actually, what happens when we do plant medicine or even drugs. It's the same experience you have in the dark room. It's just that you don't need plant medicine or drugs, because you can get it just by being so silent with yourself. You're gonna start feel and experience the frequency that is living within your mind and that is stored within your body, because that's usually, it's stored somewhere in our body, the trauma, and then from the trauma the mind creates different stories that it lives in, and that becomes the reality. So that's the frequency and energies and visions you start to see. So back to your question with when I was moving through a resistance and it got to release, what I would see, it would take me back to where the trauma started in my life.
The situation of the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then, so you have a trauma, you have that might be stored in your neck, right? The pain in your neck. And then I would get shown me 3 years old, and it would show me exactly all the details, where I was, where my parents was, where my brothers was, and it would show me the whole experience of it, and how I would feel in that moment. And then it take me into a process of like crying, and I cried a lot. I know a lot of people don't cry or do any of that in the dark room. But I'm a very emotional person, and you know, the retreats we have as well is all about learning to feel all your emotions and let everything express and get safe with that so we can release. And so for me, that was definitely, I cried a lot, I felt a lot. And yeah, it took me back to all of these experiences. And then I got to, in that memory, I got to feel the shame that me, Celine, 3 years old, felt, for instance. And then after feeling through that shame, that was then stored in my body, and it would give me maybe my body would start to shake, or I would have a process, like I would go poop all the time, because it would just like things coming out, like cleansing out of my system. And then after that process, then I would feel so much freedom, and I would meet her again. I would still be in the memory, and it would just come what she needed. It would like come spirits, angels, so much love. It would, I was in touch with so many beings. Like there were so many beings in my room, and so many spirit guides, and the spirit guides were guiding me through the whole journey. From the beginning to the end. Like the spirit guides that was with me, they were the retreats. They were like my teachers, my fears, they showed up in all kinds of ways. And when I was stuck, there was always this blue Buddha that was with me. He's still with me today. And this came already the first or second day. A blue Buddha, I would, so every time I reached a state of like accessing a trauma in my life, and a lot of this was sexual abuse, and yeah, a lot of like healing to do with my root chakra. And every time I would reach another pain, another memory that I've suppressed, and some of the memories I didn't even remember, like the memories, the trauma were so big that I didn't realize that it was, I didn't remember until I was in the dark room. And that's when I remembered, and my body had a huge reaction. And then I realized why this and this and this is happening in my life, because of this fear I have, and that is there in my unconsciousness. So
Wow.
yeah, but every time I reach the point where I'm like, what do I do with this trauma, this pain? How can I heal this? Because this is, I don't know how to get out of this. And then the Buddha would always show me the way. He would come and he would guide me in one way or another. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
That's amazing. So you had a fully team with you.
Oh, so much. Yeah. A team of everything.
Yeah.
Darkness and light.
Yeah, and everything in between.
Yeah.
Okay, so if your first days then was the experiences you shared with us, like moving through all about resistance and all of that, what happened after you actually moved through all of that?
Yeah. So basically, everything in the dark room started glitching a lot. So I would start to see a lot of colors. It would start to blink like light, white and black, and white and black, like a lot of glitching of different realities. And then I would go through experiences. I feel like I can be more personal on this. I feel like I'm talking a bit on the surface to not be but too personal, but I mean that's just my own protection. So after them, so basically what would show up is different entities as well. Like for instance, it would come up a big snake that I would see physically in the room, and that would like come to attack me. And so when I sit with that, and I'm obviously all on my own, what I did every time there would come like a demon or a being or something more scary, I just always fully surrendered into it. So instead of trying to escape or like, oh, try to think about something else, I just had to fully surrender into the experience. And I've had a long journey of meeting darkness before coming into the dark room. So this was not something that this is something I'm very grateful that I've already integrated before coming there. So there was I never fighted against anything. There was no fight against any darkness because I always knew that it was all just mirrors of myself.
Yeah.
So for instance, there would come a snake and first thing I'm like, why are you here? You know, and it would be like, well, I want to eat you. And I'm like, why do you want to eat me? And then I would like, because and then it would show me where part of myself that I don't want to exist, for instance, right? And that want to just be, that feels like it's just being eaten alive, right? And so something that I felt very strong in this journey. Well, I don't even know where to start. There's so much.
Yeah.
So basically, like I mentioned, a big part of this journey for me was sexual healing, sexual trauma and abuse happening to me when I was younger. And that has over the years given me a lot of like chronic pain.
Physical
pain in so many personal ways that have made it very challenging for me to be intimate man. And some of the pain I thought was always going to be with me. And there would be specific areas that has been so painful that like just something that would still to this day be with me as like just throughout the day flashes of so much pain, and why I cannot wear jeans, for instance, and so many limitations. And throughout my life, I've also had chronic urine infection. I've had acute kidney disease. I've always been bleeding so much also from urine infection. I've eaten so much antibiotics, and it stopped working at some point as well. And some of this I've realized that I haven't been, that I've still been very much a victim of that experience. And I'm saying this with a lot of compassion, because I understand that with whatever we experience, that some things can be so traumatic that you do feel that you are a victim of the experience. And it's important to honor that first, to be able to transform it. But for me, I realized that there was so much of this that I was stuck in. Like, I didn't actually believe that it could fully heal, or that I could fully get out of it, or that the experiences I've had was even real. And so when I would go directly into the pain of, for instance, my urine tracts, like I would just sit with the pain in my urine tracts. And in that, I would get up a picture of myself from a specific age. Like, one time was when I was 10 years old, and another time when I was 15 years old, and this picture of me, I was just in freeze. So I would get a picture, a real picture from that life of being 10 years old, just being there in complete freeze. And the other one when I was 15 was even stronger. So when I got this picture as 15 years old, let's take that one first, I would be like, okay, this doesn't make sense. It's a picture of me and I'm just standing there in freeze. I just see myself with my eyes and how my shoulders are tense and up, and I don't understand why, and I'm just sitting with it. So what is so powerful that I've realized in this, because I do emotional therapy one-on-one with clients and with an incredible woman that wants to heal. And what we do is, like, when there's drama playing out in their life, we go into the body and see where it started in your body, and then we expand it, we sit with that without trying to fix it, change it, or get somewhere else with it. We just sit with it without making any sense of it, and just creating a safe space in that. And when we do that, we sit long enough with it, it's gonna release, it's gonna show us what is actually there for us. And then the emotional reaction comes, and the shake in your body and the shivers and whatever is moving through is going to come with it, and then freedom comes. So and this darkroom experience just showed me how freaking powerful this therapy work is, and that it's actually working so freaking much. So I would sit with this picture of myself in freeze, and it would go on. Sometimes it felt like for hours, maybe it was minutes, I don't know. And I would just like, I'm not going to fix you, I'm not going to change you, I'm just going to sit here with you. It doesn't make sense, but we're just going to sit here. And then it would come like a travel that I did when I was 15 years old, and I don't remember anything. I don't have any details of a 3-week long travel that I've had outside of the country on my own. And I had absolutely no remembrance of any experience of that situation. I know that I was living with like an exchange family, but that's just because I remember that was a part of the package of this travel. But I couldn't remember any details. I had no idea who this family was. I couldn't remember their faces, how they looked like, what happened, the house, nothing. I was just, and I'm 15 years old, so you should remember that, right? So I would just sit with this, and it felt like forever. And I was just trusting again and again. I just came back to trust and trust and trust and trust. And then all of a sudden it was ready. And I just started remembering the stairs of this house. And it just gave me all the shivers in my body, and it felt so uncomfortable. And I could feel how scared I was with those stairs. There was just some remembrance of that wasn't good. And then all of a sudden I started remembering the room I was sleeping in. And next thing, and I would just sit with that, the room. I was like, oh, now I start to remember the bed I was sleeping in, and the stairs. And it's just not a good feeling. I could still not remember the family I was staying with. And then all of a sudden, felt like hours after, and I think I also went to sleep for a bit, and then was laying on the floor like, what the fuck, like I don't understand anything, like and then I again came back to trusting my vision and allowing it to be there. And then the full release would come, and it would come up a very deep sexual trauma and abuse that happened there with an older man. in his 50s, and it was so there was so much pain with it, and the way that my body reacted, I just, first of all, I had to like it was so hard to accept that reality, that I went in and out like, this is not true. And then I would come back to it and my whole body started shaking, and I would get so much, again, like so much poop coming up, like just, and I hadn't even eaten, you eat so little when you're in the dark room, but there's so much that is releasing that has been stored in your body for so many years of trauma.
Yeah.
And then so much crying, and I would experience just this huge amount of shame, and all I wanted to do was to throw up because I couldn't accept the reality for what it was. And I came to realize in this process, I think I was in this process for probably a whole day of like accepting that reality, and every time I accepted, my whole body went in full shock again, and so much emotions moving through me, and screaming and crying, and letting things move, and the physical that just came out of my system all the time. And that's when I realized how incredible important our intuition is, and how actually every single signal, pain, every emotion, every vision that you get, it has something for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might not be real, you can say, like it might be something that you've had a spiritual experience of, and that might be not be physical real in this reality, and maybe a memory that hasn't physically happened to you there, but it's still real.
What could that be? Like something that's not real, but
like, for instance, when a child is like saying that there's a man coming in on my room, I see this monster. If the biggest pain that one of the biggest pain that children experience today is that they get neglected in their intuition, in their psyche, in their truth. And if a child, then if you as a mother or father then would be like, what does that monster want? Like, could you ask it what he wants? And it's like, he wants to kill me. Why does he want to kill me? Because it says that I don't like him and that I hate him. And it's like, could you ask why it hates you? Well, because it says that it's not worth anything to me, right? And then what it actually does, it mirrors where you are not worthy of something, and it maybe be a masculine part of yourself showing up there. And any physical experience we have as well, like with the sexual abuse that I've experienced, is also a representation on what is already a pain within you, already so I think an example would be that that when you trust that, it's always going to guide you somewhere. There's always the truth to it. And
to the vision or the intuition.
The intuition and the vision. And because our pineal gland, which is the intuition, this is something that the elite, the government, call it what you want, that it's been science on this, where they've looked at how can we, block this, because the more we have access to our intuition, the more we have access to the highest consciousness that exists, because our intuition, our pineal gland, is the highest consciousness. It's where you have access to everything that you are longing for and lacking in your life, and everything that you are receiving in your life. So anything is in your life, the whole truth about this human experience is in your intuition, in pineal gland. You don't need any teacher, anyone to guide you. Like, you have answer. If you don't have food, you will get the answer to how to get food from your pineal gland. So it's the highest consciousness that exists. It's our truth. So we don't, and the more we stop trusting that, the more we will be addicted to, we will need to look for someone to tell us what to do. where to go.
We don't trust ourselves.
Exactly. Because our intuition is already neglected as a child.
Yeah.
You see a butterfly as a child, and you're like, oh, this butterfly is telling me that I should go jump on this trampoline, and it loves me so much. And then there, maybe we get laughed at, and it's like, this is not the reality. And then it is the reality. And the more we can trust that, the more we will access that truth within us and remember who we actually are and awaken to that.
Yes.
And the intuition also guides all our traumas, like everything that is stored in our body, every stiffness, every pain, every limitation. The intuition is what guides you out of it, but it requires you to deeply trust. And that goes for me as well. Like any visions that came to me in the dark room, I just fully surrendered into. I fully trusted. And every time I didn't, that's when the resistance came and the pain came. And when I did, my body got to release like full on and change the whole trauma until the trauma is no longer what it was. It's like, for instance, the sexual abuse turned into this huge empowerment, where when I was able to release like a huge part of that first, was just like the whole reaction in my body. The second part of transforming was to actually go in, be in that room with me, 15 years old, and every night that this man came in, and he drugged me, and I would actually start to grow an empowerment within her. So that part of myself that went into freeze and just shut it off and went somewhere else, I would just there's this light of empowerment that was just starting to grow and grow, and I would breathe, and I would it was like she accessed, like, wow, she is empowerment in that moment. And that light just expanded my whole being, and it expanded throughout the whole room. And eventually, I think we might even do a whole episode on just this, like on sexual trauma and how to heal this. But eventually that frequency becomes so huge and so bright that it's not even matching the same vibration that the abuser, is in. And I could see myself just kind of like walking, like the whole bedroom would kind of turn into heaven. But it was such a deep process of the frequency of empowerment, the frequency of so deep love. There's like this, when you're so like this warm red color that just you can have in all the organs of your body. Like you can just like feel this warmth of like presence of I'm here with every part of me, like the urine tracts, my yoni, like all the pain that was here. It's like, oh, I'm here with you now. Like so long I've abandoned you, but now I'm here with you. And so I had to go back into that memory and access that deep love, that deep connection, that deep intimate presence with myself and all the parts of myself that was abandoned in that abuse, and allow that to expand into the whole room. Let empowerment expand to the whole room, starting from being birthed within myself. And so now when I think back at that memory, I just see this in that room. I just see this bright light of empowerment, because that's, wow, it was such a deep experience in the dark room of understanding that I'm also empowered in the moment of abuse, like that it doesn't, that I'm as worthy, that I'm as loved, that I'm as holy, and this holy, like, because when you get abused, there's so much shame, and it's this frequency of trash, that you're worth nothing anymore, and you start to experience and meet men and have interactions with others from that same frequency. So then you start to match with other dangers as well, where people are vibrating in the same pain. understanding that I, in that moment, is as holy and is as much love and is as sacred and honored and respected and empowered. Like I actually have had the power to walk out of it. Like it doesn't have to be stuck in me, you know? And I like telling that 15-year-old being in that bed and experience so much pain, and this abuse was incredibly intense and very understanding the power there, like that I actually have the ability to walk away, to understanding that I am as resourceful in those moments and holy, like that's like that you're holy, that you're sacred, that you're honored in those moments. It's like, and it came to me, Mary Magdalene, that was, you know, seen as this hooker that was taken advantage of, and I got to understand that the only way out of this and out of not ending up in situations like this again and again in your life is to actually understand that you are God in those moments as well. It's understanding that it never left, but I left God in there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
My love, thank you for being so vulnerable and open about this experience. I feel like it's gonna give so much hope to everyone that's been experiencing different type of traumas and whatever, you know, we've heard about. It's gonna be chronic that we spoke about, or as you also shared, like I feel like I'm always gonna carry this. Yeah, you just show that there's another way.
Yes, there's been so much deep things, and honestly, like things that you think and that no one had the answers to how to heal and how to come out of. And you know, for me, I was like 28 years old when I first became safe to be home alone, sleeping at night. Like, I'm an adult by the time these night terrors and screamings at night is done and is no longer there, and that I feel so safe in that and with men. And I think the dark room, what was so beautiful is the understanding that there is nothing that needs to be forever. Like, everything can heal. And it's so freaking powerful, because I really wish this for everyone to understand that. But when there's a will, there's a way. But you have to will it first. You have to decide and start seeking the answers. And like with me, like I've been seeking so many answers outside of myself and trying to find ways where people can help me in these things. And sometimes when I've been seeking, for instance, with sexual abuse, and I got diagnosed with different things, but no one ever asked me about my intimacy or relationship to men and what is happening there. And I got put on this treatment as well, where they would put like these big, I would be put as a teenager in this chair, gynecolog chair, and they would like put big penises, like dildos, inside my yoni.
Really?
And they would tell me to relax, and that you know, that there's something wrong with me, you know. And
as a
treatment, yeah.
Wow.
For all the chronic pain to go away, and it would be this experience that there's something wrong with me, you know, and that I need to, you know, get all of these dildos and things inside of myself to fix this. And I would they would also push on different points inside in different areas that was so painful that I dissociated from reality, because it was so painful when I would be on a gynecologue chair, and the treatment would be to like take fingers inside my yoni and press on these points, and these are people that I also don't trust. You know, you're very alone, and I obviously didn't share this with anyone at that time of my life, and this is like all this seeking of answers, knowing that you do have them all inside of you, and this is what was probably one of the deepest things in the dark room. Just like, holy fuck, like everyone can heal everything, like it's possible. And I wish for everyone to hear this, that just like, please seek and you shall find, but don't stop seeking. And trusting that intuition in you, and the answers will come to you. So and reach out to me. Like there's always there's so many things that I'm doing now to create these spaces and places where we can heal whatever is there, you know. Or if I don't know how to support and guide you, I'll have friends or other connections that do have the way to support you. But just seek and send this message and do it, because and I think this is also so deeply in me now, that now it doesn't, like, the way of supporting and guiding others now just is so deep. Like, it's just so pure now. It's like, this is the God's devotion, when you understand that you're here to support and guide, and it's so needed for others to trust that voice within them and the truth within them. And that's the only way to find the answer too, when we can fully be like, well, this is the truth, so let's go with that truth and see what is there and what more is stored here. And it just makes showing up and supporting and guiding others just even more pure and important. And there's just, that's all it is. I don't fucking care about the money or the success or anything like that anymore. It's just like, we have to be here and help each other. And yeah.
My Lord, thank you. I'm so deeply proud of you for everything, like your journey, you doing this dark room, you being so brave to meet all parts of you, you sharing this with all of us. It's so beautiful to receive this from you, and as I said, it's giving so much hope to me, and I'm sure to everyone listening, to just know that this healing and this knowing that there is something else, it's possible for me and for everyone as well.
It's freaking everything, and like, honestly, that there's a will, there's a way has gotten so strong in me. Like, even, you know, I'm born with like a very strong pain in my knee that had made it impossible for me to sit in a meditation position for a long time. I've even gone down into that and what that is. And yeah, you can say that I was born with this in the DNA, it's genetic, it's never going to go away, but everything can. Like, but sometimes it requires the willingness to sit long enough in the resistance, in the pain, to then be shown what is really there, so that you can change, and you can change the whole DNA, the whole genetics. It's freaking amazing. And the only way to that is to accept reality for what it is. Like, accept exactly where you are right now, surrender completely into there, and meet God there. I don't freaking care what you're like. A half year ago, I was in the mountains, and I felt like I was buried underground. Everything in my life just died in there. And the man that I just like, that I always thought I was gonna have children with, the child that I've had so deep connection to, everything left. And at that moment when I was in the mountains, I didn't believe I would ever have children and be able to have that, or that it would come, not a partner in my life, or that I would even work. I was like, should I just start working on the kiwi or a food shop and just do that? And like everything just died, and even my bank accounts, like everything was just dead, like empty. Everything was just empty and buried underground, and I had to accept that reality and meet God there, fully surrender into there and understand that I am whole here, like in the deepest depths of not children, nothing, no friends, nothing. Everything is just not there anymore. It was the understanding that I'm also whole here, and I would meet all these spirits and angels and all this incredible deep love for myself, and holy whole abundance. Like it just grew so rich that I didn't need anything else. And when I walked down the mountain, went down from the mountains again, you know, there was nothing else I needed anymore. I was already whole. And then all the solutions came to me, and, you know, a new life, new way of moving in the portal just opened up. So it's really like you have to fully surrender and accept reality for what it is, because that's the only way you can come to the place of there's a will, there's a way as well. When you accept the pain that you actually do feel in your back, or in, you know, in what is happening in your life, that's when you can see it for what it is. And from there, you can actually access God, you can access guidance, support, the way forward. It will come in your hands. But it requires deep surrender, and that's an ego death in itself to come to that place.
Yes.
So yeah, it's I truly hope for you that is listening that you can take this in and look at every freaking area of your life that is not working right now, and fully accept that reality, surrender into it, because that's the only way empowerment and love and abundance and all of that can come in. It's when we allow it to die, whatever needs to die in there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
so powerful.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
I had my own light version of a dark room. Nothing to compare, but in my room here,
Yeah.
with the blinds down for a few days, and it was not planned out, but it happened because I was called to be in bed and sleep for a few days, and that's what I did. And I did exactly what you share, just fully welcomed everything, all the pain and the fears and all of that. And I've never experienced a bigger transformation in my life.
Wow.
And I'm just realizing that now as you share. So the wisdom and the medicine and this experience that you share, it's just pure gold. That's what I want to say. So
Thank you for sharing that.
thank you for.
And it is gold. Darkness is gold. Darkness is the medicine. It is the way. It's the, I would say, the only way out, you know. It's to find that even in the darkest dark, you are whole. Even there, you are God. You are everything there. It's no separation. There's no bad or good. It all is in that.
Yeah.
Like that abuse. Like, wow, what a freaking journey. I haven't even told half of the healing and all the downloads and information and the frequencies that expanded within me from moving through that trauma. It's, I don't know, I feel like that's like 3 episodes just on its own. But what a gift, you know. And it's yeah, and I have to say our intuition, you know, and this is something that we do in the retreats as well. We still had a spot left for you, if you, for anyone that feels the calling. There is a spot. There is actually, we do have like 3-4 spots left. So if you feel the call to join us on a deep healing journey and just open up that huge portal into light, it's there for you if you feel the calling. We're going to do it in October, so it's very soon. Just reach out to me for anything. We're also bringing in a doctor, a functional medicine doctor that is specialized on the nervous system and and trauma and healing and nutrition as well, and how it's all connected to also the physical pain we have in our body as much as the emotional and spiritual. So it's really a journey to just I really, if you feel the calling, it's for you. If you don't feel the calling, it's not for you this time. But yeah, the intuition and what this first, like, it's been science on how to block our intuition, because that's the only way for society to live is for us to not trust our own truth. When we do that, we don't need anyone or anything else around us to live life, to be guided to get what we need. So it's actually, that's how society will collapse. Is when we get full access to that intuition, but it's also the way into freedom. And there is 4 things like that they now have put into everything in our lives to block that intuition. It's the 4 things that blocks the intuition most. It's fluoride that you have in toothpaste, for instance, fluoride, calcium that they put into all the waters, so you drink it and it blocks the pineal gland. It's Wi-Fi, so all the radiation we're now becoming like our biggest safety that we cannot live without, right? And the last thing is, I think it's aluminium, so aluminium. So it's those 4 things. And it's a strategy that is being used to block us from trusting our own truth, so that we can listen to others and be controlled and control each other as well. Like, that's the way we play out these dynamics of controlling each other. And all I want is to, anyone that is here, anyone that is sending me a message or wants support in, whether that's one-on-one therapy or the retreat or any of their other courses, it's to find that trust within you again, and actually go into that guidance of what that physical, emotional pain really is, what those patterns that is playing out in your life really is about, what those nightmares really is about. And, so that we can actually become free, and not to make you addicted to me, or that I have the answers to you. It's like, no, we're going to come to that so that you can access and let the body move you, and the body has all the answers, and the emotional and reaction that is coming with it, and just tells you everything, and you get guided into the memories again, and can rewire, you can change the whole memory. So that's what I do now. It's like I continue to change my memories, and with the sexual abuse, I've had plenty or many other experiences around sexual abuse as well, but this is one of them. And something that I do every day is when I go on a run and I go on a walk, or whatever I do, is I imagine myself walking out of that room and into heaven with so much empowerment. And every time I go back into that room and into that abuse, I just expand that empowerment and worthiness and love. And so this memory is starting more and more to just become empowered. It becomes something else, like the memory actually change. And science have even shown this, that your past do change when you rewire it. The actually past experience do change, because the timeline is only here and now. So but we need to end now. It's getting late, but
it's getting dark.
It's getting dark.
Thank you
so
for much for sharing your experience. It's gonna be so healing for all of us. And thank you for guiding and holding space for other women that is also seeking whatever you just explained and experienced that you have found. So I'm very happy to witness you in this transformation as a friend and as a sister, and everything that we are for each other. So thank you for allowing the rest of the world to see you like that too.
Thank you for holding this space. I really appreciate that. It's so beautiful. And we're gonna put the links also in the description of the retreat and everything that you can join.
Yes.
And Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, you want to be there. If you feel a calling, you want to be
Oh,
there.
fuck yes. Yeah, I'm gonna be around the fire.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a deep
It's
freaking
gonna
journey.
be It's so transformative.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Mm.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.